Yo, it's your boy Doncho, welcome to the Hideout, and I am back with another Jujutsu Kaisen character discussion. Don't forget to support the channel by hitting that like button and subscribing if this is your first time visiting. Any monetary support can be given on the Doncho's Hideout Patreon and Coffee, link below in the description box. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to comment your thoughts or suggestions for characters you want me to discuss. But before we get into it, intro. The only female in the first year class Jujutsu school in Tokyo, Nobara Kugisaki, is not your average female protagonist. In all honesty, Nobara's character seems to go out of her way to combat the stereotypical female lead in shonen manga, especially when compared to her male counterparts Yuji Itadori and Megumi Fushiguro. Her character is developed very keenly and portrays the philosophy that women don't have to choose between being pretty or being strong, and you can do both without being in a skin-tight suit or a bikini. Beyond just her ability to portray both these things, she does it so uniquely and unprovoked that it becomes even more steadfast when her ideals are challenged. The biggest impact of Nobara's character to me is her charisma. She is passionate and extremely expressive, which creates room for all her positive personality traits to shine, without overshadowing the negatives that are necessary for her growth as a character. For example, when introduced, she is pressuring a model agent to give her a chance by telling him that she is more than fit to be a model for his company. It's quite an embarrassing moment when she gets turned down and her attitude turns up to the max, causing her true aggressive side to take the lead. It is a beautiful duality to a character where she tries to exude grace and flawlessness, but in reality she's a rough, uncut gem that is hard to appraise. It gives Nobara a realistic feel and removes her from the tsundere conversation. She doesn't mask any emotion to seem tough, she just is. This is easily connected to her upbringing in the country where she was trained by her grandmother to fight curses before coming to Tokyo. Growing up, Nobara was a tomboy. She loved playing Super Smash Bros, and based on the scenes Akutami displayed, she seemingly mostly wore athletic clothing, like jumpsuits. In her flashback chapter during Shibuya, we even see Nobara standing on top of the boys she beat up at school. However, the country was never her true place to belong. Envisioning a life in the big city, becoming a model, enjoying fashion stores, and seeing the best tourist sites is what Nobara seems to be all about when you are first introduced to her, but you easily be fooled until you see her in action. In chapter 5, she gives up her advantage on a curse because it was a little boy hostage. She says to herself how foolish it was of her to drop her weapons because it would either get away or kill the boy and get away. Even though she thought this to herself, her instinct to heart told her to let it escape in hopes the boy would survive. She knows what is important to her, and it's not just about living a life of luxury, but to protect the lives of people like that little boy. When the curse is surprised by Yuji's arrival and tries to escape, Nobara finishes off with her ability resonance, and Gojo mentions that she is plenty crazy, implying that she had what it took to be a Jujutsu sorcerer. After saving the little boy, Nobara makes a comment about coming to Jujutsu school because the only way she can move to Tokyo. Yuji asks her, "You risk your life for that?" And she answers with a resounding, "Sure, it's to stay true to myself." Nobara is honest to her feelings and even makes a comment implying that she wouldn't be happy if the situation turned out any other way, and thanks Yuji in earnest. Although it seems Nobara has an obsession with the finer things in life, it is shown that even this trait stems from a relationship with two old friends from her hometown, Sayori and Fumi. Sayori had been ostracized just because she was from Tokyo and was rich, and they even had been accusing her of acting stuck up. However, she was nothing but nice to Nobara and Fumi. Sayori eventually moved back to Tokyo, causing Fumi to see Nobara cry for the first time. See, Nobara was always seen by Fumi as the tough one, the tomboy of the relationship, like I said. The moment gave Fumi a new level of respect and understanding of Nobara. Before, she saw Nobara as an impenetrable wall, but seeing her cry made her remember that Nobara has emotions just like any other young girl. It also gave Nobara the drive to leave her hometown to find Sayori again. Nobara has hopes of seeing Sayori so they can go to the bakery she had always mentioned to Nobara and Fumi while they was visiting her house as children. In the Goodwill event arc, Nobara is fighting against the Kyoto student Momo. In the fight, Nobara is antagonized by Momo's description of what it means to be a woman Jujutsu sorcerer. Coupled with praise about Mai Zenin, Momo preaches about how women Jujutsu sorcerers must be pretty, elegant, but not skillful. She also talks about how Nobara is being naive by wanting Yuji to be alive, even calling him an actual curse. Momo's attempt to assert her beliefs directly conflict with that of Nobara's, and not only trigger her charismatic expressions, but also gives her a drive to speak of her own beliefs. Nobara says how she feels with power and distinction, while continuing to move forward toward the goals she set on. In the face of adversity, her character shines. She makes it clear that her life is not a job, and that she gets to decide what is fair and what is not. She shows obvious disdain for Momo's philosophies. Nobara's response to Momo's explanation of Mai's struggles gave heavy insight into Nobara's moral compass. She compares Maki's situation, saying she loves Maki for her strength even though she was treated poorly by the Zenin just like Mai. She then even defends Yuji by exposing the Kyoto student's inability to look at Yuji for who he is and not as Sukuna's vessel. She doesn't dwell on the things she cannot control, but instead focuses on what she can control, analyzes the situation for herself, then progresses forward.
私は綺麗におしゃれしてる私が大好きだ。強くあろうとする私が大好きだ。私は釘崎野原なんだよ。
Nobara's words are perfect here. They express 100% how she feels as a person and adds amazing character development. And when I say development, I mean the development of her character personality, not her change over time. But anyway, Nobara's compassion is unique because she seems very aware of her own emotions. She holds herself to a certain standard and wears her emotions on her sleeves even unconsciously at times. She felt guilt and regretted the Cursed Womb arc, wanting to become stronger after seemingly losing Yuji. When Megumi told her Yuji's last words before dying, Nobara tried to play tough and act unfazed, lying say she wouldn't cry over someone she just met. But as she's saying it, Megumi noticed her eyes getting watery. To be a Jujutsu sorcerer, you have to be strong and face death face first, and Nobara embodies that, but also can't help but show her emotion at times. Her response isn't to wallow in the grief, however, it is to get stronger with Megumi. In Origin of Obedience, Yuji asks her how she felt about killing two of the Cursed Womb brothers because they were still part human. She responds, very seriously but extremely sincere. She makes it clear to Yuji that she believes what they had to do was necessary and that anyone who isn't in her shoes can't tell her what is right or wrong. It is a profound way to show a character's mentality after committing murder for the first time, although in self-defense. It begs the question how far Nobara would go to defend the decision she made in the heat of a moment, and just where her guilt thresholds stand. Nothing about Nobara is surface level or can be understood at first glance. Her values, morals, mentality, and philosophy has yet to be fully explored by Akutami in the time of my analysis, but I still see many things for her despite her current condition. As the female lead, it is exciting to see her not fall into the trope of being the love interest of the main male protagonist, and even seeing her gravitate toward the other female cast members like Maki Zenin touches home. Nobara Kugisaki is one of the most interesting female characters in recent Shonen Jump, and following her progression should be interesting. One can only wonder where Akutami is going to take a character with the world Jujutsu sorcery heading into chaos. I guess we'll see. Well, I hope you understood my thoughts and analysis on Nobara's character. If you like this analysis video, don't forget to smash that like button and hit that bell icon so you won't miss more. How do you feel about Nobara's character? Let me know in the comment box below. Thank you for tuning in. Shoutout.
Young Noise.